Okay. Awesome. Good afternoon, everyone, depending on where you are coming in from. It could be good morning as well. I am happy to come in and see you guys today. It's been a little while since we've been in. I'm hoping that you're not going to hear a second me. Hiding all my Christmas decorations and wrappings, and it's not really working that well. But anyway, we will get there. So, guys, I want to introduce you to an amazing woman today who I've met through some mentoring and masterminding that I do. Her name is Emma Rhoades. So, hi, Emma.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Now, Emma talks about how we go from invisible to influential in our workplace. Now, this is an amazing thing. Now, it can be regardless of your role, which is what I like. It doesn't have to be at the top of the organization. You don't have to be at the bottom of the organization, but it's about creating authentic, courageous leaders. Now, Emma runs her leadership journey and creator of the Inspired Leaders Academy. So we have some great things, and Emma will show you some things that she's got available for you later on. So Emma works with women in a workplace, transforming them from visible and unheard, like who has been in that space before, to influential and an inspirational leader. So I love that Emma is here. I love that she's going to take you through. She's going to show you a couple of slides as well. But this content you can apply to all different things. If you have your own business, I know Emma helps people with their own businesses as well. So take what you can and then flip it around, pivot it around a little bit and use it for your own business. Maybe this is something that you're wanting to get back in the workplace. We have a lot of mums in this group that maybe are wanting to get back in the workplace, and you're going to find this is going to be really, really helpful for you also. So I am going to sit quietly with my notebook and pen in hand so that I can learn from Emma as well. But I will throw it over to you, Emma, to take it away.
Hi, thank you. I was just asking my daughter to hop off the internet, please, because I just noticed it was kind of in and out, and then I got that, oh my God, that warning sign that says your internet connection is unstable. The dreaded one. Anyway, so let's see how we go with that. Thank you for having me here. It's so great to be here and to be talking to everybody inside your group. And look, over the years, I've gone from business owner, from creating my own business to growing that, to having a team of people that was working without me. Ultimately, I'd set that up, and then I moved into some corporate management work. And that was when my eyes really got opened about our corporate workplaces. And, you know, some of the experiences that I had were not unique to me, but I spent about 3 years wondering what was wrong with me, because I thought, for sure, this has got to be me. I'm doing something wrong here. So I looked at what I was doing. I changed a lot of stuff. I was doing so much learning and studying, trying to find out what was actually wrong, what I was doing wrong. And as a result of that, I've got a few diplomas under my belt, which is always nice to have. But it turns out that, you know what, our workplaces seriously have some cleaning up to do. And the more I talk about it, the more I hear all these stories from women all over. And so I decided to do something about it, and I left corporate, went back out into my own business again. And over the last few years has been a bit challenging. And but out of that, I have created Her Leadership Journey, which is a support place for women. It's those who are in management or who want to step into management, somewhere that you can come and talk to. Because I remember when I first stepped into that management role, on the outside, I was all calm, wonderful. Inside, I had no idea what I was doing. I was learning, but what we find at the moment is there's this huge learning doing gap, right? Like, we can get a knowledge of transfer through books, through videos, through all of this kind of stuff. But unless we know how to take action and then take the action, nothing's going to change. And it's one of my favorite metaphors I like to use. There's two, actually. They're riding a bike and swimming. because we can watch all the videos, we can watch other people, we can read all the books, but nothing will actually allow us to start learning until we get on that bike and start pedaling, or until we, jump into the water and start sinking. Those are the only way that we actually learn. So taking that, I kind of thought, all right, let's do something about this and start to really help our frontline managers, the ones who are at the front, who get statistically proven, get less leadership and management development than those throughout, higher in those ranks. And so they have the most impact on people who come in, who work, who trade their time, their lives to go to work and go home. And so that's where the space of her leadership journey really is about. But what I've noticed is when I sat down to really think about, okay, what is the process that we go through here? So over the last, I don't even know, 10 to 15 years throughout business and through corporate as well, what I really worked out was there is a process that everybody goes through. And you know what? It's regardless of whether we're talking right now about your workplace, whether we're talking about a community group, whether we're talking about your business, the same principles, I guess, apply, the same journey. And so I wanted to share that with you because it's when I try and explain it, it can be quite difficult. So that's why I asked Nikki if it was all right if I just shared a couple of slides with you here to show you what I mean when I'm talking about, this invisible to influential journey. So Nikki, can you just give me a thumbs up if you can see that? Okay, that's coming through all right. Perfect, thank you. And so this is generally what I've worked out that everybody goes through. And it's this stage of invisible. And this is where, you're overlooked for promotions, you're unheard, nobody really wants to, they don't come and ask for your input. And sometimes you kind of feel as though, what's the point of being here? What's the point of even saying anything? What's the point of speaking up? Nobody listens, nobody does anything. You might want to give feedback to somebody or even to your manager. And they're like, oh, thank you, that's really nice. And they don't do anything about it. When you're talking about a business, this is really the starting point. Nobody knows who you are. You're completely invisible. And these 5 stages I have actually proven to go through in the workplace and through my own business as well. So this business, her leadership journey, started at the start of COVID. And I had to redesign my business. I was doing in-house consulting, team building, culture work inside organizations. And that all got closed down. I got the thanks, Emma, but we don't need you right now. We're really focused on trying to keep our doors open. So I lost all of my work. So I thought, okay, what am I going to do? And started up her leadership journey, which is online. We've got women all over Australia in there. We've just hit over 700 in our group called the Female Leaders Collective. And we're really starting to grow. But I started invisible, absolutely in that invisible stage. Then what I find is the next place you move to is really this achievement. So when you're stepping into a role or let's make this simple because otherwise we're going to be here forever. The achievement phase is really about getting your street cred, getting results, making sure you're performing, making sure your team's performing, making sure you're getting testimonials and things from your clients that you're doing. Then we move into the growth. And this is where we're really starting to look at, okay, I've got the basics down pat. I know what I'm doing here. I've got the results. Now let's look at how do we grow and make a bigger impact than just me. And so in the workplace, this is about stepping out of this management space and really into a leadership, which are 2 very different things as well. So the growth phase is probably the most frustrating for everybody because you want to do this, but circumstances kind of lead you to here. So it's really about thinking outside the box, but it's one of the most beneficial stages to be in. Then we hit the transform, and this is about purely stepping into that leadership and transforming not only yourself, but transforming the people around you. So you start to really look beyond you and also into the workplace and your surrounds that you're in. And then, of course, we hit that influential phase. And so what I found with my own business, this actually went through over the last 18 months to last month, I was asked to go and speak on stage for the National Women's Leadership Summit. So that went all around Australia and also in New Zealand as well. So we did them all simultaneously. Ours was here in Brisbane. And, that was something going from 18 months ago. Nobody knew me in this space at all. So that's kind of some of the results that I've got, but then also the clients that I work with have gone through and gone promotions and things like that. They were saying about, oh, they've noticed who I am. They notice what I've got to offer and what I can do. And so that's why I know that this process works. So what I normally do is we work out when there's more time. I know we've only got a short amount of time here. So we work out where you kind of fall in that area and how you can take the next step to get to the next stage. That's really all it is. And so what I wanted to share with you again were 3 areas, I just put up 4 fingers, fair income, 3 areas that you go into. I'm trying to rush, Nikki. I'm trying to get all of this information out. There's only 3.
Take your time, because this is really great content. So take your time.
Sweet. There's only 3. There's 3 areas, and the 3 things that you need to do, they're kind of overarching pillars or concepts, really. We need to work on your confidence, because if you don't have that confidence, then you're not going to speak up. You're not going to put yourself forward. You're not going to sit at the table and stay there and own it and use your own voice. So we really need to work on that part. Generally, that's the first part. But we need to look at things like your self-awareness, really working out what your strengths are and starting to get you to implement things, because the biggest problem I see when people say, oh, I just need confidence, or I want to build up my confidence, you've got everything you need within you right here, right now. But what you need to do is take a step out of your comfort zone to do it. And that's the piece that a lot of people don't do, because it's safe and it's easy and we'll stay here. Or sometimes you dip your toe out and you nearly gets cut off by a bus or something. So you quickly bring it back in again and we'll just stay here. But it's this time, every time you've got to step, do something different, push past that fear. And that's how we boost confidence. The only way you can get increased confidence is by doing the things that you know you need to do, but you're too scared to do. Sorry, I know that's a bit of a Debbie Downer. People are always coming to me looking for this magic bullet of what's the one thing I need to do to boost my confidence. And at the end of the day, you don't need anything else. You have everything you need within you. You just need to surround yourself with people who will support you and cheer you on as you step outside that comfort zone. And they'll come back and you can celebrate with them as well. And that's why I created our group, the Female Leaders Collective, because that's exactly what I wanted it to be, that cheer squad. Because if you want to make change in your workplace, if you want to do things that you've never done before, it's going to take a little bit from you to go and do it. And that journey is not one to be walked alone. So like exactly what Nikki's got going on here inside this group, make sure you speak up, make sure you talk, share, because I can guarantee you that what you're thinking or what you want to say, somebody else is as well. And by speaking up, you actually give permission for other people to do the same as well, who are sitting back waiting. And that's what leadership is about as well. And so then the next part is developing your influence. And this is really about the skill sets that you need. It's about the relationships that you build with other people and about getting the results. So those 3 main areas that I spoke about, in that achieve section where I was talking about getting what I call street cred, which is really about getting results. So making sure you're hitting all of your goals in your own job. You are then helping other people to hit their goals as well. If you manage a team, then making sure your team is hitting all its KPIs, achieving all of its outcomes. That is really crucial. If you're not doing that and you're not doing that consistently, that's your focus. Because I know from my own experience and from helping others that until you look after your own backyard, people are not going to really listen to what else you've got to say. And when you think about the people that you're listening to and the people that you come and get advice from, you want to know that they've got some kind of results somewhere that you can go, oh, okay, yeah, they've already been achieving, whether they've gone through that journey themselves, and you can relate and resonate with that as well. So this develop influence piece is really about the skills. So make sure you've got your management skills. Make sure you start investing in some leadership development skills. Or if you're running a business, then have a look at some of the business skills you might need to look at as well. Your relationships will take you everywhere. So make sure that you're building them as well inside and outside your workplace. And then the last piece of this is really about how we inspire others, because it's only when we start to speak up and get other people to feel something, to feel that resonating with you, or to kind of go, yeah, that actually, I hear what you're saying, and I want to jump on board with you. That's when you start getting these followers, and that's when you start inspiring other people around you. Now, inside the workplace, this is as simply as getting your team on board, getting other managers on board, getting your peers, colleagues, and then really expanding it out through to the wider company itself, and actually going to another silo, because they're all still siloed, going to another area, department, and starting building relationships with them, and then start, inspiring other people from there. Because once you do that, when you talk, people will start to listen. So in this piece, this inspiring others piece, it's about developing and communicating your vision. Who is it that you want to be? What kind of leader do you want to be? And what do you stand for? And this can be, your job role if you want, but I like to look at it a bit bigger and go, all right, who are you in the grand scheme of your entire career? What kind of leader do you want to be? What do you want to be known for? Do you want to be a leader? Are you happy to be a manager? They're both they're not the same, but it's not as though one is better than the other. They both have really important functions to play. And one of the biggest things I see is that there's so much pushing for leadership, that we actually need to really focus on our managers. And these are the skill sets around, setting expectations, about delegation, about giving and receiving feedback, and being able to coach other people to improve their own performance in their own lives. That's some of those key skills that you need to be able to do. Once you've got them, then you can start really looking at, okay, how can I use these to develop and inspire other people as well? So that's kind of the big overarching concept of, how you go from invisible to influential. But predominantly, you need to know where you are along here. So when we look at things like being invisible, you're pretty sure you know whether or not you're invisible. Most people who I speak to are generally either in that invisible and achieve section. We kind of combine them together. We actually combine most of these together because there's no science behind this. It's just been put together from my own experiences. And what we find that when we're in this invisible and achieve stage is we start to speak louder, and we kind of think, okay, I have to be the one that has to talk loudest in the meeting, or I've got to get a word in just so people know me. That's not the way that you develop your influence. It's not about speaking louder. And then when we're really looking at the achieve stage is pretty self-explanatory around there. You'll find if you're here in this achieve stage, things like you're not meeting your KPIs consistently, your team aren't doing it, there's a lack of responsibility from your team. You probably don't have a lot of motivation or buy-in from them either, even though that can go right through your journey. But your role is to bring all of that back around and to get that motivation, to help them have that accountability for their own role, to get them to believe in themselves and what they do. That's what we're looking at going from this journey from invisible to influential. If you're in the growth stage, you probably find that people are starting to listen to you, but they're coming to you for everything. So you're really putting out fires everywhere. You might find you're kind of in the squish of middle management here, that your manager is kind of is more aware of you and what you've got to offer, because remember, you've gone through the achieve stage, but now they're probably not quite listening to some of your bigger ideas just yet. You probably also find that in this stage, you've got a bit of a lack of clarity around your own future progression, because you might be here thinking, where do I go next? What am I doing next? I'm kind of stuck, it's stagnant, nothing is really happening. You're probably in that growth phase. And so the transform is, you really kind of through that, and now you're looking at the bigger picture. So here's where you start putting business cases forward for ideas. You own your own leadership. You've got your management skills down pat. You've got people listening to you. You've got the results from there. So now it's about looking at the networks that you're building, because in this transform phase, you will also outgrow some of your networks, people who are not going to grow with you, and that's okay. You need to know that will happen. You're probably really second guessing yourself as you go through this transform stage. There's little bits and pieces here that kind of go, oh yeah, great, I'm moving forward. and then something might happen that you think, oh no, I'm nowhere here yet. So it's a bit of a yo-yo through here as well. And then of course the influential stage is when that you start talking, you say stuff, and people just pick up and run with it. And this can actually be detrimental, as I worked out when I was throwing around some ideas with someone once, and the next thing you know, she's gone and done all of these things. And I was like, oh, what? How did that happen? And she said, well, I thought we spoke about it. You said this. And I was like, oh, okay. I was just throwing around ideas that we could do. But that's kind of when you hit that influential piece and you don't really know it. People are picking up and hearing what you say and just running with it. And sometimes you've got to backtrack as well. One of the things to know is that at this point, it can get quite lonely as well when you really need to start watching what you say. You've probably got a smaller circle of people that you can trust. If you're at this point of influential and you have not yet got your core management skills in place, you're going to really struggle. You'll still be constantly giving out direction to people. There'll be, not a lot of delegation happening there. You'll be doing things for people as well. So I guess I share that with you so you can have a bit of an understanding about where you think you might fall into, and then use some of these, what might be holding you back to move into your next one. And I can guarantee you it's one of these. It's either you're doing it yourself, you don't have enough confidence, and you feel that if you just have the confidence, you'll be able to do this. You haven't quite got the skills or anything, or the relationships yet to help you move to that next point. So you might be performing amazingly well, but you haven't spent any time on developing relationships with other people or stakeholders. Or the third one might be you've done those things. Might be that you are you haven't yet been able to develop and communicate your vision very clearly, so it inspires other people. Like, where are you going, and why should they follow you? Surround yourself with the support networks and focus, have focus, commitment, and discipline to see through the things that you actually want to do. So those are probably the three areas. Now, have you got any questions, Nikki? Or it can be quite a lot in a short amount of time. So anything you want me to clarify?
Oh, that was fantastic. The one thing that was going through my mind, I was thinking of myself when I was working in an office and how that all worked. And yeah, like, it is really quite amazing, isn't it? Seeing, what kind of processes we go through. How do you find now, in this day and age, men versus women in terms of going through this process?
I don't have men come through. What I'm finding, and it's not that I'm against men. I work with men in my original business. But what I find with the work that I'm doing now, it's a combination of personal and professional development. So we really look at who you are, what is the mindset that you take before you step into a meeting versus just how to talk in that meeting. So we kind of do the whole, you combine them together. And what I find is that we have more open conversations with women. I don't know what it is. To be fair, there's a lot of very female-dominated workplaces that have just as many, if not more, problems than a male-dominated workplaces. We just don't hear about it a lot. So I don't think any of this really is different to whether you're a male or a female at all. And if I was talking to a bloke, I'd say exactly the same types of things. You need to make sure you get your achievements, get your street cred, develop your relationships, and make sure that you're able to really develop that key message of who you are and why someone should want to follow you.
Yeah, and I think, hearing it about the workplace, you also mentioned that this would be the same process that people go through in business, trying to actually get seen and known. And
Yep, absolutely. And if you have a look at any kind of business growth, when you're starting out with an idea, you've got to develop that. We talk a lot about, well, what's the transformation? What's the purpose of this? How can I help someone with this business? Because if you start a business just because it's something you love to do and you want some money, there's got to be some more substance in there, because if you're going to provide a service to someone else, what is it going to do for them and for their lives? And so when you take that kind of mindset approach to it, we start to see the invisible. Nobody knows who I am. And every day, every week, we go through this in our business, because there's people out there who are in your group who never knew me before, right? So right now I was invisible to them, whether they choose to continue on and either come over in the group or take up a leadership audit offer that I have, it's completely up to them. But then I start that process of going from invisible to influential with them, which is really about getting them some early results. That's part of this whole process of sharing what I shared with you today, to give you tangible takeaways, things for you to start thinking about. Do a self-assessment. Where are those areas you need to focus on and what are you going to do about it? Take that away and get some results. Have a think about it over the break, start to do a bit of rumination, if you like, on where it actually falls into play. And then when we're looking at growing, that growth phase of a business is really about, right, I've got my basic, I've got some results happening. We've got some testimonials. We've had some results with people. Now we need to grow the business from here. And then when we're looking at transform, that's when you're really stepping away from the business and you have other people coming in doing a lot of the work for you. And then that influential piece is when you really start looking at, okay, how can I spread this message to more people, which is ultimately, it's kind of what I've done through this business just in 18 months, to being able to be asked to speak on stage for different groups, webinars across all of Australia and Asia Pacific as well. That's that piece where you kind of go, okay, great, from there to there, but now I need to do that on an individual basis with everybody who comes into contact with me, to be able to take them through that journey. So then they go, okay, yep, you're the right person to help me go from invisible to influential inside my workplace. So yeah, it works the same here. It works the same in community groups too, Nikki. Like if you go into like a brand new, like a P&C or something, or any kind of community volunteer group, you're invisible. They don't know you, right? And over time, you need to develop your influence through there. And these stages absolutely are the same. You start to achieve results, which is really about getting in, doing what you say you're going to do, holding up, your weight. I don't know about you, but how many committees have you been on where people are just, they show up and they don't do anything. They never volunteer their time for stuff. They're just kind of sitting in there. Whereas, those other people who are always there, they're the first ones to set up, they're the last ones to pack down, they're always giving of their time. Who are you going to listen to more when they want to start speaking and sharing new ideas? That's the power of that, that achieve phase, that street cred phase. So it really works across anywhere.
Yeah, I love that. I love that you've just shared that. Now, you've got something amazing to offer our beautiful community. Do you want to share?
I would love to. I do a free leadership audit, and what that is, it's hang on, I've got a graphic. Let me just bring that back up. But I am a Gold Reach partner, which for those of you who've heard of like a DISC or a Myers-Briggs or something like that, we use some behavioural assessments to help you to really uncover your core leadership strengths and to know those areas that you want to focus on to go next. So it's all about your next step. And so this leadership audit, what it does is you do the assessment and then you and I will jump onto a Zoom session together and we'll actually go through the results in here and work out where you want to go. So what your goal is for you, for your career, or it might even just be, the next job role that you're trying to get or that promotion that you want to get. We look through, okay, how can we use this information that we've just got now, plug it into this invisible to influential journey that we go on, and then set you on your way with some first few steps for you to take, especially as we go into the new year. So offering that for your group here free. So if they want one of those, just comment or chat with you and we'll organise that one through there. So this is what they look like, the 4 areas of leadership styles. And so then we get plotted around there and look, there's no right or wrong. So probably the biggest thing that I talk to people with this data is that there's no right or wrong. It's just data. You've answered some questions and it's popped out a report to give us some insight into you that you might not have been logically aware of until we kind of show it back to you. But then what we do with that data is completely up to you. So one of the biggest questions is, are you happy with where you ended up here, or do you want to change it? Let's look at where you want to go. Is this an area that you're going to need to change and work on in order for you to hit your goal? If it's not, then we move on. This is not about changing who you are, because we want you to be authentic. It's about uncovering probably those hidden strengths that you don't really know that you have until somebody is able to hold up that mirror and help you to see them. And that's what I love so much about this audit. So yeah, that is for your group members.
Oh, that's just lovely. And look, guys, if you are interested in that leadership audit, perhaps just comment audit below and we'll be able to put you in touch with Emma. I have a 5-year-old that is currently starving, hasn't stopped eating all day, and so he's pulling apart the pantry. Do you know what? Background, that's what he's doing.
Yeah, it's just like the phone as well, right? You can have all day long, and I remember so clearly setting them up. Like they had food, they had toys, they had TV, the lot, when I had to make a phone call, and it's still, they just know. I don't know what it is, but they just know that that's the time they're going to find something else to talk with you about. I love it. Keeps it real.
Yeah, that's great. Now I can see Belle's on. She's mentioned audit. So Emma will get in touch with you, Val, and organise how to get you onto that audit. So anyone else that watches back on replay, also comment audit and Emma will be able to help you. We'd love to be able to offer you that here. So thank you, Emma, so much for jumping on. We're coming up to Christmas, so I hope you have a very amazing and Merry Christmas with family and loved ones. And for the rest of you, I will be speaking to you next week. But yes, big thank you to Emma for her time today.
Great, thank you for having me, and I wish you all a wonderful Christmas break, New Year break as well. I hope everyone gets to spend some time with families. I'm heading across the border down to my family in Coffs Harbour. Fingers crossed. Hopefully we get there and get back okay.
Oh, you just had your borders open, so all right. I need to open it.
You are needed.
And
thank you,
Emma. Okay.
bye for now.